Journaling is such a powerful tool to help you understand yourself, grow, and just overall improve in your life. I'm going to give you 3 journal prompts specifically to help you improve your confidence. All right, let's jump in. Journal prompt number 1. What are 3 strengths that you have, and how have they helped you overcome challenges in the past? So, this first part is really first identify the strengths that you have. This is a question that I routinely ask people when I'm doing an assessment in therapy or in coaching because ultimately I want to understand what are the strengths, what are the things that are already working really well in this person's life, and you have them too. I know sometimes, especially if you're struggling with confidence or self doubt or this negative mindset, that maybe you forget about the strengths that you have. So, I want you to actually dig a little bit deeper and think about what are your strengths. If you have a hard time answering this, then think about maybe someone you care about. What would they say, right? What would be strengths that they would endorse if they were talking about you? Something that can be helpful with this question here on the screen, I have the 24 character strengths and virtues. This is really from the movement of positive psychology research that was done, and they came up with these 24 character strengths. So you can just take a screenshot of this screen to help you pick strengths specifically from this list, or maybe there's something else that's not listed here. Once you've picked and identified the strengths that come to mind or from this list, then I want you to really relate and think about 3 instances where these specific strengths helped you overcome challenges. So I don't want you to just think of these strengths kind of like just in isolation. I also want you to really think about in practice, how do they actually help you? So dig a little bit again deeper and think about when I'm thinking about the strength of kindness, how did this actually help me overcome a challenge? Give an example or multiple examples if that's really helpful. Because I want you to really tie the strength to actually how it's positively impacted your life, as well as like what you did in that context that helped you overcome a challenge. Because again, when we're thinking about that lack of confidence, you really doubt yourself. You really feel like, man, you don't have what it takes. You feel like people that are naturally confident just have this innate personality trait. And that's not how it works. A lot of times when I'm talking about confidence, I'm really talking more about building up that courage, like learning how to do the things scared. And then over time, it might get easier because you have a little bit more practice. All right, comment below. What were your 3 biggest strengths? And then if you see someone else commented, hit a like or a heart because I want you guys to support each other. I want this to be an area, community of support, and that we can be each other's biggest fans. The second journal prompt is all about embracing imperfection. So ultimately think about what recent mistake or challenge have I faced and what did I learn from it? So this is really helpful because I also want you to start thinking about your relationship when it comes to mistakes. A lot of times when people struggle with confidence, they might have a very fixed mindset. They get really rigid. There's no room for mistakes or messing up. Like they really internalize that and they get really stuck. I want you to really start to shift your relationship with making mistakes. Acknowledging that to be human and learn a new skill or just approach any situation means that you're going to make mistakes, and that's normal. But then this other piece, right? Thinking about mistakes that you've made, think about also what you learned from it, because that's really key. Thinking about, okay, this mistake that I made, how did I confront it? Or even if maybe if I didn't learn anything in the moment, now looking back, is there any wisdom or anything that I can gain from that experience? Okay, this third one is all about values. I want you to think about what actions can I take this week that are aligned to my core values. Okay, so how are we going to link this to confidence? I want you to think about what's an area in your life where you struggle with confidence, and it might be all, but for this exercise, think about one. So for this example, I'm going to think about your professional area. And in that domain, I want you to think about what are your values? What are important to you? Let's say it's competency, growth, creativity. And think about like, what does that actually mean or look like to you? So there's a little bit of values exercise built into this question, but then thinking about what actions could you take this week that are tied specifically to those values. So creativity, I want to pitch a new project to my manager that really taps into my creativity. You can also see how that's also tapping into this confidence piece because you have to be willing to feel confident enough to talk to your manager about it. Now, if you want to very explicitly tie this to confidence, think about in this area of my life, again, professionally, how does my lack of confidence get in my way? So think about like, okay, how does it show up? So for instance, does it stop you from pitching to your manager? Does it stop you from taking on a new project or, public speaking or speaking up in a meeting? So thinking about how does this lack of confidence get in the way? And then thinking about if you were the most confident person in the room, right? If you just really felt like on top of the world, think of like Beyonce level, then what would you be doing differently in this domain in your life that show up? And also link that again to some values. I'm going to imagine that they're somehow linked, meaning your ability or your desire to want to be confident and where you're getting stuck is also linked potentially to some of these values. So for instance, let's say you want to be able to speak more in meetings, that might be linked to your value of competency or growth. So I want you to link both and then think about, again, what are the small behaviors that you can start doing to work towards that? If you want a worksheet to help you actually put this into practice so that you don't even have to write these down, just something that's easy and you can just start typing right away, comment the word confidence and I'll send you the link to sign up to get that worksheet. And like I always say, I encourage you to continue nurturing your mind, body, and soul, whatever that looks like for you. Thanks, guys.